Hi, in this video we are going to look at the principles of virtual system. When we divide the firewall, how does it work, what are the technical principles, how they function, how they pass on the traffic, and how we can configure and manage those virtual firewalls. So the basic concept, as we have already discussed, let's look at it from another angle. Our next generation firewall is the physical next generation firewall. We can break up this, or we can logically partition this physical firewall into multiple virtual systems. We can create multiple virtual systems within this firewall. However, there is going to be a public system which is always going to be present there. Even if we do not create any of the virtual systems, even if we configure or use the firewall as purely a physical firewall, we can assume and we can say that now the firewall is working with a single system, and that system is the public system. But the moment and all the configuration that we do on the firewall is actually being done on the public system. However, as soon as we create the virtual system or systems in the firewall, we will have all those newly created virtual systems plus the default plus the default system on the firewall is going to be called the public system. So all the default configuration will be migrated, or will be shifted, or will be adopted by the public system, and then we can separately configure the virtual systems as well. And important thing is that all these virtual systems plus the public system, they are completely independent of each other, and if we configure one or make any changes to one virtual system, the other virtual systems are not affected by this. And by default, when we create virtual systems or when we create virtual firewalls, each firewall will have its own VPN instance. VPN instance, or some vendors also call it VRFs, virtual routing and forwarding instances. So VRF or VPN instances related to VPN environments, where each firewall is going to have their own routing table, and their routes and the routing information is isolated from the routing system of the other firewall or the other logical firewalls that we have created. So a default VPN instance will automatically be created or immediately be created as soon as we create a virtual firewall. And we can also create additional VPN instances on the logical firewall if we want. One VPN instance with the name of the virtual system or the virtual firewall system will automatically be created. So this is the firewall instance that we created, and this is the VPN instance which will automatically be created. However, we can create additional VPN instances on the firewall as well, if and when required, on that particular virtual firewall. Similarly, when we create multiple virtual systems or virtual firewalls, each firewall can have its own administrator, because if we are creating multiple firewalls and we are assigning those firewalls to different departments within our organization, or to different customers who are our cloud data center customers in multi-tenancy environments, then each of these virtual firewalls or each of these organizations who own these virtual firewalls will need to manage and configure those firewalls independently. So they are going to have their own administrators. So we can assign different administrators for each virtual firewall. So for example, if we have virtual system A, VSys A will have its independent administrator, VSys B, C, D, and all the other virtual systems will have their own administrators. Similarly, the public system is going to have its own public system administrator. And actually the public system administrator is the one who is responsible for creating these virtual systems in the first place. Once these virtual systems have been created, then we can assign these virtual systems different usernames and passwords, and then pass on these virtual systems to their respective administrators. And then, depending upon the scenario, the public system administrator might or might not be able to access these virtual systems for configuration and monitoring. Because if it's a customer, the customer would not want the cloud provider administrator to be monitoring or looking at their firewall. So the administration also can be made completely independent of each other, so that if one administrator makes any change to its virtual firewall or virtual system, the other administrators or the other virtual systems will not be affected in any way. As we can separate the administrators, we can also, and we have to separate the resources as well, which means that whenever we create a new firewall or a new virtual system, new logical firewall, we have to allocate or assign certain resources to that firewall. That resource allocation is done Some of the resources are allocated automatically, which we call the quota allocation. For example, SN, VPN gateway functionality, security zones, etc. They are automatically assigned to the new virtual firewalls which we have created. Some of the resources we have to allocate manually. For example, the VLANs, the number of users, online users, all these features that are you can see here, these have to be assigned, and the bandwidth as well. You can assign these features manually through configuration, and we look at the configuration in the next few slides, in the next few videos, that how we assign these resources to the different virtual systems manually. And then we have the preemptive or preempted shared resources. These are the resources which are not dedicated for any particular firewall. These are common resources which are shared by all the virtual systems that are running on a firewall. So the examples of these resources are given here. For example, the user-defined service and service groups, or region and region groups. These are global kind of resources which are shared by all the firewalls, and the firewalls, different virtual firewall systems, compete with each other for getting access to these resources. As you can see that we have talked about the bandwidth allocation. This is a manually allocated resource. Let's take a brief look, or let's look at more detail on the bandwidth allocation part. When we want to monitor the amount of bandwidth that is being consumed by any virtual system, or we want to limit the amount of bandwidth that any virtual system can consume, there are different types of bandwidth that we can look at. For that purpose, we have to consider the different interfaces on the firewall and look at the traffic that is flowing between those interfaces. So for example, we can configure, or we assign different interfaces two roles. Either we can have private interface or private interfaces, or we can have public interface or public interfaces. Public interface is simply an interface which we assign the role of being a public interface. It does not necessarily have to be the interface which is connected to the public internet or to the public network. It could be any interface, but we just assign it a role of public interface, and this is used for determining or used for monitoring the amount of traffic flow through the firewall. So any traffic that is entering the virtual firewall through the public interface and going out of the private interface is called the inbound traffic. Any traffic that is moving in from the public interface and going out of the moving in to the private interface and leaving out through the public interface is called the outbound traffic. And any traffic that is moving between the private interfaces or between the two public interfaces is called, or is categorized into the category of entire bandwidth. So this is the inbound bandwidth, this is the outbound bandwidth, and this is the entire bandwidth that is between the private or the public interfaces. We can limit the amount of bandwidth in these three categories when we do the configuration, and we assign the resources or allocate the resources. The next important concept that we need to discuss for virtual systems is the virtual system traffic sorting. We need to sort the traffic that is coming into the firewall, because firewall is receiving traffic as a single physical firewall. However, as soon as the traffic enters the firewall from any particular interface, we need to understand, or the firewall needs to take a decision as to which virtual system or which virtual firewall this packet belongs to, so that it can pass on the traffic to that logical firewall within the physical firewall, and the rules or the policies of that particular logical firewall can be applied on that packet or on that traffic. For that purpose, we say that we have to sort the traffic. This concept is called traffic sorting. So the incoming traffic, when it is passed on to any particular virtual firewall, is called packet sorting. So packet has to be sorted first, and only then it can go through the rules, or it can go through the routing policies or the security policies of any particular virtual system or virtual firewall. This traffic sorting can be done on the basis of either interfaces or on the basis of VLAN. For example, here we have a firewall, and it has got three layer 3 interfaces. In this case, this interface, gigabit Ethernet 1/0/1, is assigned to virtual system A, 1/0/2 is assigned to virtual system B, and 1/0/3 is assigned to virtual system C. Based on the policy, or based on the interface assignment to different virtual firewalls, any traffic that is coming in through this interface will be sorted and forwarded to VSys A or the logical firewall A. Any traffic coming in through gigabit Ethernet 1/0/2 will be forwarded to sorted and forwarded to virtual system B, and similarly traffic coming in through this interface will be sorted and sent to virtual system C for further processing. The other option is that we do not have, it's the same interface or same layer 2 trunk interface which is being used for receiving traffic from 3 different VLANs, and each of these VLANs are going to have their own tags, VLAN tag 10, 20 or 30. So whenever traffic comes into a trunk interface, the firewall is going to look at the VLAN header, and it is going to the trunk header and look at the VLAN ID and forward that traffic to the appropriate virtual system based on the VLAN association with that virtual system. So if VLAN 10 traffic comes in, it is going to be sorted and forwarded to virtual system A, and similarly virtual system B and C depending upon the particular VLAN ID. So this is how we sort the traffic based on either the incoming interface or the VLAN ID in case we have a layer 2 interface. Next important concept or next important point that we need to understand about virtual firewall systems is the virtual interface. Because we have multiple firewalls within a system, and just like physical firewalls, there is a possibility that 2 firewalls need to exchange traffic with each other. So similarly, if we have virtual firewalls, there is a possibility that virtual system A or virtual firewall A wants to send traffic to virtual firewall B or C, or any of them want to exchange traffic with the public system or the default firewall which is present in the physical firewall. In these cases, each of these virtual systems are going to have virtual interfaces, and internal traffic exchange between these virtual systems takes place through these virtual interfaces. So each firewall is going to have external interfaces which we allocate to them, and then they're going to have internal or virtual interfaces which are used for exchanging traffic between the firewalls. So for example, here if we assume that traffic is coming in from this network, and this network is connected through gigabit Ethernet 1/0/2 interface of the firewall, and this interface is part of virtual system A. However, when we need to send traffic out of the interface, this interface is not gigabit Ethernet 1/0/1, is not part of VSys A, it is part of the public system. Therefore, it means that this traffic needs to be forwarded from VSys A to the public system before it can be forwarded or sent out of this particular interface towards the internet, let's say. For this, we need to internally move traffic from virtual system A towards the public system. For that, the virtual interface of VSys A, which we call virtual interface 1, we can give it any number, virtual interface 1, it will be passed on to the virtual interface 0 of the public system. By default, it will always be 0. The public interface, and from there it will be forwarded towards the internet. So what is going to happen is that whenever the traffic enters here, the virtual system A will check for the validity of the packet. First of all, it will be sorted, then it will be given to the virtual system A, and the virtual system A, depending upon the routing information and the security policies, it is going to go through all the security checks or the security policies, and it is going to pass through the routing table, and the routing table dictates that there is a default route for all the traffic that is destined for internet. Most probably all the unknown traffic or default route is pointing towards the virtual interface 0, which means it has to be passed on to the public system. So this traffic is internally passed on to the public system. As soon as this traffic reaches the public system through virtual interface 0, once again this firewall or this public system is going to follow all the steps that a normal firewall follows, which means it is going to pass the packet through all the security checks, and then it is going to check the routing table and forward this traffic towards the internet out of the outgoing interface that is given in its own routing table. So both of these firewalls or virtual systems have their own virtual system as well as the public system. They have their own routing tables and they have their own security policies, and this packet is going to pass through both of those systems and their respective tables and policies in order to be forwarded from the source towards the destination through this physical firewall and through these two virtual firewalls or virtual and public firewalls. Similarly, when the traffic comes back, when the response comes against that traffic, that response comes into this gigabit Ethernet 1/0/1 interface, and then this traffic is going to be checked against the session entry which is present here, because there is a session entry already present here on the public system against the traffic which was forwarded towards the internet. It will look at the session entry and it is going to forward the traffic towards this interface. As you can see, it is going to forward the traffic for this destination towards virtual interface 1, and once the virtual interface 1 receives the traffic, it is going to look at its own routing table and forward the traffic towards the destination after passing through all the session tables or whatever security measures, the regular firewall security measures are in place, and the traffic will be forwarded back towards the source, or in this case towards the destination, which was the original source of the request which went to the internet. So this is the important point here in this in these slides, is to understand the concept and the role of these virtual interfaces which are responsible for exchanging traffic between the two virtual systems, or one virtual system and the other public system. Similarly, we can also have a situation where the communication is taking place not between a virtual system and a public system, but between two virtual systems. The overall communication remains exactly the same, or the overall concept remains exactly the same. The only difference is that instead of forwarding the traffic towards the default route, we are forwarding the traffic towards a specific destination address. So in this case, if this user wants to access a server which is placed out of this interface on virtual system B, once again it is going to forward the traffic the same way here. The traffic is going to be checked first by this virtual system against the routing table and against the security policies. Then it's going to be forwarded to this virtual system, which is once again going to check the traffic against security policies and against the routing table, and then it is going to forward the traffic towards the destination, and then the response is going to come in, and once again the appropriate tables, session table or the routing tables, are going to be checked on both of these virtual systems. So in this case, the two virtual interfaces that are being used are the virtual interface 1 and the virtual interface 2 on VSys A and VSys B respectively. So this is how traffic is exchanged between two virtual systems, or one virtual system and one public system. So this was a little bit more detailed overview, detailed understanding of how the virtual systems work. In the next video, we are going to look at the configuration and deployment of virtual systems and some of their practical scenarios or case studies, how we can implement those in a real life environment. So see you in the next video.